Hello and welcome to the Chronically Online podcast. My name is George and this is
James.
And we're going to be talking about all kinds of geeky things from a professional marketing perspective. So every episode, we talk about some memes we like, we talk about some professional marketing trends or things that we found recently, and also general geeky stuff because we both have history of professional marketing careers, but we also are chronically online and spend too much time looking at our phones and stuff.
Yeah, professional experience of nerding out. That's what I got.
That's what it is. Yeah,
always.
And people pay us for that. What the fuck?
This is crazy.
So what we're going to be talking about today is this meme that I don't know what the technical name of it is, but Madonna Like a Prayer Deadpool version with Pepe the King Prawn TikTok text carousels.
Now, if you're just reading that from like a TikTok audio, you'd be like, "Get?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
You'll know the visual though.
Yeah. So, anyone, you'll instantly hear it if you're like a TikTok or IG person. It'll be like, "I hear your voice."
Yeah.
So it's something slow mo, dramatic, taken from a part of the Deadpool movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Can be used for completely and utterly full blown serious edits, or can be like completely take the piss, go the other way. So
I've never seen a serious one. I've only seen like
the anime community use it quite a bit for
Okay.
like some kind of character death or last stand, and they'll put that, "I'll hear your voice." But now I can't take those seriously because of the other context in which I've seen the thing. It's used a lot because Marvel Rivals is out. Which is an incredible hero shooter. It's free.
Nice.
It's Overwatch, but for Marvel characters. The obvious parallel there, every time someone dies tragically or saves everyone from like an ult, or which is like the last final technique, it's always that song. That's always that song that's used. So
nice. I like that. Yeah, well, I've only seen it when it's like a swipe text carousel on TikTok, and it's some like insane, unbelievable, disgusting story, and you're going through like I can't stop swiping this, and that's why every time
a Reddit story or something, or
it's always like, oh yeah, I was round my boyfriend's house. I needed to use the toilet, so I ... and you can just, what I mean?
It didn't flush, so I threw out the window and it hit his nan.
Yeah, exactly.
Something dumb.
It's always that. It's always stories that are like you just swipe through, going, I can't believe this story is the way it is, and it always like it zooms in to Pepe's face the more you swipe. I love it.
I haven't actually seen it done with Pepe.
Oh that's all I see it.
That's crazy. So this is just the different sides of the internet stuff right now, like how we'll see it just use a completely different context. I would usually get a story like that, but done with the Minecraft like robot Reddit story voice.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it's always someone doing an obstacle course in Minecraft with like very methodic jumps, or a Subway Surfer, that will just like
GTA 5 race, drag race.
GTA 5 race, or Turbo Track Mania, which is actually one we've tested.
That's the one we tested.
Yeah. Our agency's
one.
most viral clip was us talking about something mundane with a gameplay video underneath.
Man,
just like if that doesn't just hurt your soul. You know?
That's depressing.
But game's a game, mate. Game's a game.
Yeah. No. Anyway, I thought it was just a cool meme, and I thought it was quite. I suppose versatile in a way because it's just about telling a story. At least what I've found.
Extreme.
You found different versions, but the ones I found is like text story.
Yeah, and which is super easy for brands to execute. I think, a lot of brands struggle with how to embrace TikTok and how to produce video at a high level. So, for instance, we work with a gym brand who have a part-time content creator in-house, which is amazing, but they can only do around 2 videos a week. So it's just like making you're creating something from scratch. It's just like, okay, we're further away from them, so the cost effectiveness of us going to shoot something doesn't work. So how can we take advantage of carousel or image based trends to pump up the volume and stay within what's going on TikTok? So it's about being savvy in terms of which trends you can choose, highly versatile ones with popular songs from movies, stuff like that. It seems a given, but you have to be looking for them. And you have to find it in the right context, because the way I saw it was completely different the way you see it.
Yeah.
So
that's telling.
Everyone has to spend time on their brand's TikTok timelines, training it to see certain things, liking, pressing not interested on stuff, maybe getting your team to send you various different trends, so you have a chance of keeping up. Because otherwise you just like only see one type of stuff. You'll miss out on an entire side of the internet's trend, because you could be cool and hipster and have a completely different timeline and not see anything popular, which means you won't be able to take advantage of it for your brand.
Yep. And that one specifically, this meme, such a low production cost. And when I say cost, I don't mean money necessarily. I mean effort and time. I mean production cost to make what? You just get the same image from
especially
the
because it'll be a
Muppets
CapCut template, right?
Yeah,
Which
of course it
you
would
can
be,
just
yeah.
like, because people, thank God, make these things from scratch first and then save them via CapCut. For anyone who's not familiar, CapCut is a separate third-party editing app that has very close ties with TikTok, so you can import TikTok audio, save templates that upload directly into TikTok. And it's fairly basic information for anyone who's making content before, but no one's really taken advantage of it enough. Content creators do, because it's so freaking easy. But honest to God, it is such a life hack and such a lifesaver.
It feels like cheating.
Yeah, it does, and it's just a sort of fucking spectacular app anyway. Like, it's for any of my video content, it's Opus, CapCut. That's it. That's all I'm using.
Right.
Because
and is that premium CapCut? Like if you paid the 140 quid or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 100% worth it.
Yeah,
like because again, everything's like up to date and on trend. Even like the text, the inputs, the extremely accurate subtitling. Like I'll sit like, sponsor us, CapCut, please, I beg, because it's so good.
Yeah.
So it is the Canva of video.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, I've only actually used the free version, but that's because it does everything I want. That's kind of my point.
100%. It's one of those apps that makes you go, why do I pay for Adobe again? It's one of those. And I've noticed lately Adobe are going hard with influencer partnerships.
Okay.
Around the sidemen in that sphere of creators. Right. They've done several partnerships with people that I'm seeing all over TikTok, and I'm like, there's nothing you can do to make me buy Adobe again if I'm not going to need it. It's so overly complex for everyday creators when simplistic, authentic content is in as opposed to super high end. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I can see why they're doubling down on a different age group, because they're probably struggling. I've had to guess from the numbers. Don't know yet. Someone from Adobe let me know. But like, that's my guess.
Yeah, no, that's if they're trying to these very obvious like outreach things, then that's probably it. I just searched for Pepe the King Pro. I just love him. Look at his stupid face.
See, when you said Pepe, I had the green.
Oh, the frog.
I had the green racist Trump card.
I also I have a plushie of the Pepe frog.
Hell yeah.
I can't remember how we got
all the time, by the way. I've just seen him with like Trump wigs on, and like that's my
but anyway, that's
version.
What I mean.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you've seen on TikTok? Yeah. Whereas like it's just Pepe's face, and it keeps on going more zoomed in every time.
I mean, can the camera see that from afar? I'll probably superimpose it. But
oh man, I just love Pepe so much.
The guy that does his thing. I saw a clip the other day of him on a morning news show. Right. And this poor lady's trying to read the normal headlines, and he's just there like stroking her arm, like Vince, carry on. Oh, God. Just properly throwing her off and flirting with her. It's jokes. It's joke.
Man, I love that stupid stuff. Little puppets. So that is the meme of this episode that we're chatting about from a brand perspective. Something else to discuss is how different channels, different apps can work as marketing channels without really being expected to. For example, at work, we have a little group called Running with the Numbers, which is for accountants who run 5Ks.
Nice.
It's a cool name. And the idea is, because apparently a lot of accountants are like big on exercise, like a lot. It's like a really big thing in accountancy.
When you've been in the sheets, man, you got to come out of the sheets and start running, touch some grass or something. Because Excel will swallow you whole, brother.
They do be like that.
Like Vietnam War stories in the coffee rooms. Like
just fade out.
Too many columns.
So with Running the Numbers, what we did is we started a Strava group on the Strava app. And the Strava app, for anyone who doesn't know, it's an app that tracks your exercise, your runs. You can turn your location on, and it tracks literally exactly where you're running in the local park, whatever.
That's the CIA know exactly where you are.
At all times. Yeah, elevation, all kinds of stuff. And anyway, you can have a group in that. We got a group for Running the Numbers, and you post updates. And it just struck me that it's a social media platform. Yeah. Like we say, okay, guys, here's what we're up to today. Click, and it's a photo. We posted, we've got new shoes. Or at work, I arranged some merchandise, some shirts that says Running the Numbers on. So we're posting that in the Strava group, and it's the same thing as like any other. I suppose it would be more comparable to like a Discord or like an Instagram broadcast channel, I suppose, where it's like. It's a group where you post updates. And it just struck me that, you would never really suggest that as a marketing channel, but it is that. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, again, it started in the best way a community can, completely authentically for you, without any ulterior motive. And now actually, this could be something. Yeah. And that's how all the best creators start, and everything. So But Strava was very smart in terms of how they set up their app. Because believe it or not, people, I used to use it. It don't look like it now, but I used to. So when I did, I just noticed how it would kind of prompt me to want to post about my track, and I could clearly see how this could get uber competitive, like immediately. Like, I think it made me want to take pictures of where we are. It made me want to get up earlier. It made me want to shame you because I got out of bed. And I'm like, this is toxic. I'm not going to do that. So I refrained from posting because I'm like, I know I'm going to get competitive against people that like have no idea who I am.
I think it does something like, if you have a public account, it does something like, okay, you have become the champion of the local park.
Yeah, I mean, and the gamification potential is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, every alpha Chad who got up at 4:30 a.m. and got in a cold plunge is immediately going to jump on Strava. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. no matter what you tell me. Podcast.
But what about the Strava Championships?
The Strava Championship? No.
I just made that up.
I legit thought that was the thing immediately, which just tells you, like, that's. Maybe it's done its marketing right, because I'm like, that seems believable.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is, but no, with this Strava group, it's not like it's big right now for us. Like I said, it's just another channel. It's just another channel for our marketing. It's not necessarily.
So how is it spread? How is it being used from a broader context? Because
so at the moment, because we don't want to kind of go the hard sell in this very, very niche area of our audience base, it means that we are only posting kind of running updates. But it's because it absolutely ticks that box of marketing, which is pretty much just basic awareness. Just, okay, here, we're human too. Not every piece of marketing, as we know, has to be these like hard sell. Here's our product, here's our service. Like, no, the Strava stuff is going to be, okay, we're human. Look, we're out with the new running shoes. We invite people to join us for a 5K, because my MD will do a park run every Saturday or every other Saturday or something. So he will join his accountant friends who also want to do the run, and we'll get people involved via Strava sometimes. It
makes perfect sense. And you guys are recruiters by nature, right?
Yeah, we're financial recruiters, hence why our candidates are all accountants.
So it's such a perfect match. But I think recruitment companies, I've always thought from a social media perspective, have so much more infinite potential than a lot of other brands, just by the nature of how they, one, attract people more naturally because people want jobs, but two, obviously there's so many different ways you can interact and gain trust with someone over time.
Sure.
Because when you want to work with a recruiter or a recruiter want to work with me, I've only almost worked with one recruiter, but that's because they went so far above and beyond, and they talked to me quite a bit before we'd ever done anything together. Because it's a massive, like, if I have to pay 10% of someone's salary to find someone, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if it's a high end person, it is, especially if you're paying it in chunks. So
and we're financial recruiters, so we're financial directors and all that stuff.
By its nature, it's high ticket sales. So humanising in such a nice way, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
It is. That's the whole thing, and that's why I'm not going to sell my company now or anything. But we're very much about, like, okay, we're different to the others. We're really human. Because my directors, they've experienced the kind of the shit non-human robot.
There's stories and a half from the recruitment industry, so it's good that they've gone, I've seen that. I've been in Nam, and we're going to come back, and it's going to be a nice chilled place where we can change things. I like that.
It is. Well, hence Strava. Hence why we're using that as a marketing channel. Not a busy one, but just another channel, just another place to post our updates.
Something nice. Because ultimately, even if no one buys, community is nice.
Exactly. It's community. Yeah, no, totes. Well, the other one I wanted to chat about is geeky things of this episode. I have received a Dungeons and Dragons cookbook for Christmas.
Chefing up, son.
Christmas present, You
have to roll a D20 for each ingredient.
Yeah, bad. That'd be amazing. But no, it's like, it's just
one, pour salt in it.
But it's a 20. Oh, God. But it's like, it's meals and stuff that are in the game. And the funny thing is that with Dungeons and Dragons, at least the ones I've played, food isn't necessarily a huge point of it. It's a kind of, I tell a lie, because right now it
depends on the campaign.
Yeah, the campaign that I'm playing now, food has popped up for my character right now because my character is a chef in Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go.
And therefore my DM has prepared these like special foods that, like, if we kill this special, like, holy boar, take his flesh, that becomes a poisonous piece of bacon. I don't know, anything like this. And we haven't played in ages, but Yeah, but food is a big deal in Dungeons & Dragons if you make it a big deal. But normally, the game is about fighting and stuff, so food isn't a thing. But, you know, the geekiness of Dungeons & Dragons and a cookbook being made about it, it made me ask, how has it gotten so big? How has Dungeons & Dragons, you know, from the 80s gotten so big? And I'm thinking maybe Stranger Things, you know.
Stranger Things is definitely a part of it. I think a lot of people that watch Stranger Things had no idea it had that much of a link to Dungeons & Dragons.
Right.
I would probably give more credit to like TikTok. You know, when we talked about in the previous episode how TikTok helped like the theatre community and like make like, you know, just enjoy the theatre. I'm just trying to burp mid podcast. The theatre community, but just like, you know, sing songs a bit more normal, especially amongst male circles. But just exposure in general, because it used to be something done in the basement with a bunch of nerdy guys.
Be ashamed of it.
Now there's like open like cafes and things that do it. Obviously online communities, Discord, Reddit, like online communities are a big part of how it comes together, but also success of massive creators like your Critical Roles or I cannot remember the other one that I actually prefer them. It's not Legend of Atlantis or something like that. I'm sorry I butchered the name, but they do some absolutely hilarious characters, and then those little excerpts go viral or they get animated and stuff. And I think bringing that imagination to life pulls people into what Dungeons and Dragons could be for them also, because, you know, when the world's getting a bit more poop, escapism wins.
And video games.
I mean, it's the same thing happened with Space Marines and Warhammer, right?
Sure,
like, Warhammer used to be proper basement dweller activity. Now you're an ultra mega Chad if you play Space Marines. You know,
if you're Henry Cavill.
If you're a true Sigma.
Absolutely.
Space Marines, get mewed, which is another meme for the LinkedIn community we should probably explain, but I'm not gonna, so have that.
Google it.
Google it, you betas. Can't believe I just said that. Get it out.
What's more geeky than out of Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer, like right now? I don't know. This
depends on the perspective, right? Because all right, let's take the I'm an 80s bully and I'm about to go in on you, right? So you either sit in a basement with your friends and pretend, and you make up characters in your magic sheet, and sometimes you dress up for it, or
put on a voice,
or you get a big table out and you build and paint figurines in your spare time, and then you do the pretending.
And the figurines can't even like they don't even do anything; they just sit there, and then you just roll.
I do both of these things, by the way. So I have a right to say this, but I just pure dedication to time. Space Marines takes more time. Warhammer takes more time.
I see that.
And I'd probably say it costs more.
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah, technically the thing about Dungeons and Dragons, you don't really need anything other than the dice.
As long as you've got a DM that knows the rules.
Yeah, if the DM knows, then you just need dice, really.
Yeah.
Of course, it helps if you've got 1,000 other things, like the books.
Yeah, I mean, then it's just like the more ambience you can create, the more fun you have. But like, other than that, it's like the bill you can run up for Warhammer is absolutely insane. I got like one starter kit and it cost me 70 quid.
Damn.
And then it took me like a whole day and a half to build everything in the starter kit. And then I looked at everything, I was like, it's all grey. I've got to paint it all. And I was like, that's a lot of work. Too bad I'm not doing it. Just didn't do it. I'm like, I can't do it. It's just now in my cupboard. And I play Space Marines 2 on PS5 instead. Because that's what true alphas do, bro.
Yeah, that's it. You're inspirational. Really.
Yeah, truly. Like, David Goggins, move out of the way, bro. I wake up 10-ish every day, right? But yeah, I said the nerd off, I'd say, is beaten in money.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the money thing that makes it. Well, it was just interesting, you know. It was just so random that we got a cookbook from Dungeons and Dragons, which isn't really famous for cooking, but it's still kind of such a mainstream thing that it's now got a cookbook. And I was wondering how it got there. You know?
Yeah. It's always like I got an anime cookbook, I think, last Christmas, and I was just like, anime, especially Studio Ghibli movies, or Ghibli, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So for anyone who's not familiar, like you'd be famous anime movies like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, something like that. Okay. You always get these beautifully relaxing scenes where they make the most delicious looking food you've ever seen because of it's just beautifully hand drawn. And in using that, everyone goes, oh, I wish I could just... That's what makes a lot of people want to go to Japan, because they just think it's going to look like that, which some restaurants can bloody do it. Yeah. But yeah, I can easily see how that is then commercially applicable.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, Japan's popularity has just again massively surged over the last few years because of the more mainstream popularity of anime and anime culture, stuff like that. It's very similar, and online communities have everything to do with that.
Yep, no, definitely. It's there's so many ways to like boost up a taste, boost up a kind of a topic, and boost up a game or something. And now we got Henry Cavill involved. Henry Cavill, Warhammer.
He better stay involved, and they better listen to him. I'm not having another Witcher escapade where he had to leave because they just weren't listening. For anyone who's not familiar with the situation, I think after season 2 of The Witcher, or did he make it to season 3?
2 or 3, I think. Yeah,
they were deviating a lot from the source material and the game. And Henry Cavill, who played the main character, Geralt of Rivia, was having some serious creative differences with the people at Netflix and producers and things like that. And I really struggle to like the mindset of the executive or producers with this, because the reason that most adaptations for games or mostly game adaptations, to be honest, have never actually anime adaptations as well.
Yeah, One
Piece is the only one that's done it properly. The only reason that they don't succeed is lack of understanding of the source material, and a deviation from that because they think they need to change it for TV. And it's just like you might need to change some practical things, but it's the reason that every single thing is why the Mortal Kombat stuff always sucked. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did okay, but like that was always like an okay like series. What other like really bad video game movies are there?
Oh my god!
Basically all of it. Uncharted, Super Mario,
the original Super Mario.
To be fair, the new animated one's pretty good. That's because it's more fucking similar to the source material.
Yes, animated,
Sonic as well. Sonic is a fucking love letter to Sega, and like just the comedy in those games, right?
Have you seen the Assassin's Creed film?
I don't want to.
Yeah, I haven't seen either, but I've heard it's pretty shit.
Yeah, I've heard and saw the reviews, and I was like, no, because I adore those games. Just because they fucking deviated from what it was supposed to be. Yep. They didn't even make the main character, the guy that's like, the first 3 games of Assassin's Creed, Desmond Miles, you play as him, that's his story that revolves around. You trace back through his ancestry, you get that story. They just, why wouldn't you pick that? I wouldn't care if the movie was about the first 3 games. Just do it well. We love Desmond. Like, why would you do this?
Big one is Resident Evil as well. The entire main character of Alice. And she's cool, Mila Jovovich. She's cool, I get it, but that's completely invented for the films. It's ridiculous.
It's just constant, like, we have to make it different.
Yeah.
But if the golden age of Marvel taught us anything, is that, hey, if you do the characters like they are in the comics, maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
Maybe crazy thought here. Yeah. So if they mess up Warhammer, I don't think the internet will ever trust anything again, to be honest. No. I won't. I'll be like...
It'll be like when CD Projekt Red, the Witcher people, released Cyberpunk, and everyone was like, no, we hate you. We've lost all trust. But then they gained it back.
Yeah, eventually. And that the context of that is they released the Cyberpunk, was it 2099?
Yeah, 2077.
2077. Yeah. I always get the number wrong. And it was too buggy to play on launch. Which was very unlike CD Projekt Red, because they were known for the care they take for those games.
The Witcher
because
3.
of the reputation from The Witcher 3. Yeah. And they almost completely scuppered all of that goodwill, because I guarantee you some greedy exec push the game out too quick.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's the criticism of most games that fail now. It's just like, bring me a finished game. I'm not paying for an alpha. Like, give me a finished game.
Yeah,
like,
stupid.
It reminds me when we were talking about Space Marines the other episode, and it's just like, I miss games that are finished and have like 3 solid modes and no microtransactions. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah. That makes me want to buy things from you.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me more trusting of you as a brand. You know, I can't wait for the next game that the Baldur's Gate 3 people make. I can't wait for that. I'm buying that day one.
Yeah. I really tried to get into Baldur's Gate. Really? Something about the movement system that I can't get behind.
Okay. You mean movements when you're fighting?
Yeah, I've never had the patience for turn-based games.
I see.
So even though I'm a big anime fan, I've never been able to get into JRPGs or like anything like that, because I can't do turn-based. I couldn't even keep Pokemon going. Oh, I actually enjoyed watching the Pokemon show as opposed to playing the games, because I'm like, I don't like select that. Did it work? Okay, I'm far too like ADHD for the patience for turn-based. So when I was really hoping Baldur's Gate played like a God of War.
Okay.
or an Uncharted, like a more of a third-person action game that had a seriously good story. Like, because I was craving something like The Witcher 3 again.
Yep.
And it just, then nothing was like it. And I was like, oh, Baldur's Gate might do it. And then luckily it was a free trial. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I appreciate it for what it is, but it's not my bag.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you're describing it about, comparable to... what did you describe it as? Did you compare it to?
I want it to be more like God of War, The Witcher 3, like a third-person over-the-shoulder adventure, but you follow one character. Like, I need games like that because if it's turn-based or something like that, then I lose attention. But also if it's too open and you create your own character, I can't get behind that either.
Yeah.
So like...
That's the whole point of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, but like, so it's weird because it should be my bag, but Skyrim, like the quintessential RPG, I've never gotten past like Whiterun.
No way.
Because I find it far too open and there's nothing to grip me into the story. Like I need something to hook me in. So I always prefer having a strong main character and a strong narrative and more of a guided like thing. Otherwise I just get bored.
Yeah, that's so true. My old, he's currently my friend, but my wife's old school friend who now lives in Canada, he's called Dan. And he's now called Canadan.
Oh, Canadan, eh?
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
Oh.
He phrased it so well. The reason the Skyrim's story actually kind of sucks is you're always the chosen one in literally anything you do across the entire map.
It's true, you go to a certain faction, you're all that,
Yeah, so like you can basically complete the main story and then go to like a little side village where you start them again. They're like, who are you? I've never heard of you. Well, I'm the guy who saved the world. Did you not hear about all this? I just completed the main quest. But no, that's the bad thing about it.
Yeah, being the Dragonborn is OP. But like...
Yeah, you're right. There's no strong main character. It's like you're always just an empty hero. It's just the chosen one of us.
But the Bethesda games have always been a bit like that.
Yeah, true.
And I'm noticing because Bethesda recently did the new Indiana Jones game, which I've been playing on Xbox.
Did they? I didn't know that was Bethesda.
Well, it's very Bethesda-like if they didn't do it. I swear they might have some involvement or something.
Okay.
But even though you're playing as Indiana Jones, you see him occasionally. So if you're doing if you've whipped up something and you're trying to climb up, you'll go third person out to him.
Cool.
And then you'll zoom back into first person. Mm-hmm. It's something about the choice to go first person which I don't quite understand. Because I'm like, I swear this game would be better if it was third person over the shoulder, kind of like Uncharted. And maybe that's why they wanted to do it that way, so it wasn't like an Uncharted clone.
A bit different, yeah.
And it is very like puzzle based. Having it first person is quite nice to like mess around with puzzles and things. But there are certain times where it's just me looking at my handgun or like whatever bottle I've picked up or something, and it's like there's like a loss of characterization if my character hasn't said something for a while. Yeah, and then occasionally he'll come out with a quip when I'm taking too long to figure out a puzzle. He's like, maybe I should try that. And I'm Indiana Jones. Yeah. And maybe it's just because I have the like attention span of a goldfish. But I'm like, I can't. I need more. Like, the reason I'm spending time with this character is because I want as much time with this character as possible before this experience ends.
Yeah.
And if he becomes, like, any hero that occasionally says things that sound like Indiana Jones, I'm like, what's the point? Like, anyone who's played The Witcher 3 will know, once you've finished it, all you want is more time with the characters and all the side quests, and you're like, God, I wish I could erase my memory and play it again to experience it all over again. Yeah. And that's what I'm always looking for in a game. Like complete immersion and belief in something, which I struggle to do if it's just like me making up as I go along. Yeah, because if I want to use my imagination or just close my eyes, I don't need a controller to do it.
Yep, you're right. And Indiana Jones is famously a really fun, charismatic character.
And it is written well, but maybe it's just how long I take figuring out the puzzle
maybe
or
it's your
something.
Fault. Yeah.
I think it's just a skill issue, to be honest.
You're killing Indiana Jones in your game.
GG easy, like he's fucking dumb in my playthrough. You can't figure out anything. But no, it is actually a good game. I'm just like struggling to get through it for some reason. Out of like, I'm not sure if it's pacing or some things are quite tedious. There's a lot of stealth.
Okay. He's not very stealthy in the film.
No, he kind of comes in, whoops your ass, shoots some Nazis, like, and I could play it like that, but like if you do, it's pretty hard. You get griefed by like too many goddamn fascists everywhere, just trying to steal an artifact and take it back to somewhere it shouldn't be. Leave me alone. But yeah, no, definitely play it. By the way, definitely play it.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list.
It's on Xbox Game Pass. For free.
Okay.
Same with the Xbox. Dude, it's worth it. Get like the non-disc one, which is what I got. It's like 200 quid and under or whatever.
Wow.
Get Xbox Game Pass, 14 quid a month.
That's cheaper than I thought.
Latest Call of Duty was on there.
Okay.
The,
Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
Right,
like the £70
Damn.
would be like Indiana Jones would have been 60, 70 quid.
Whoa.
They're starting to release and I think this is where Xbox is going to tweak their direction from PlayStation, because PlayStation clearly won the hardware war. They're like, right, well, we're going to go buy every studio we can, which I think is how they got those things, and we're going to put them straight on Game Pass. So you're like, it's almost become so essential to go over there, because now I got Call of Duty for free.
Yeah.
If I had an Xbox, and I had to pay 70 quid if I had a PlayStation, which my dumbass did, by the way, because all my mates had COD on the PlayStation, so I was forced to buy that. There's social pressure, ma. They got me, ma. But yeah, like that's I think that's a cool direction they're going.
Yeah.
But also be the death of the disc, which is like a whole other ethical discussion.
It is. But see, this is why it's a good and bad thing that we're chatting, because my original point was about cooking in Dungeons and Dragons, and now we're talking about the console war.
We're talking about the expansion
but
of
that's
media,
cool.
man.
Yeah, that's cool though. I like it. But that means that for the moment, we're calling this episode an episode. This episode is done.
Yes.
So if you like the sound of this and you want to hear more of us chatting about marketing perspectives from memes and geeky things, hit the subscribe button and the follow button, whatever platform you're looking at this on. And yeah, we'll see you next time on the Chronically Online podcast. My name is George, and this is
James.
And we will see you next time.
See you later.